Gano Sagro, good morning. It's nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for another preventative health awareness view by the grandmas. Today we have Grandmother Renee with us, and she's going to begin our morning with an opening. Yawa for showing up.
All right. Yes. So today we always, every day, when I say today, today is the moment. We always have to live in this moment and always appreciate this exact moment. We have to bring our minds back because our minds are so busy way out there. They want it. It's always way in the future. We have to pull that back and be grounded in this present. And so that's why we say today. So when you hear that word today, always remember to bring yourself back to this very moment. And so we will begin. We give thanks to Itnistaha Yon Honzari. That is, I guess you would call it almost land acknowledgement. To us, it was always saying good morning to our mother, the earth, because you always like to honor your mother. You know, people have walked away from honoring their mother. And it's so sad because a mother is sometimes overwhelmed, overburdened with all the responsibilities. And so you always want to give thanks for her, for all the things that she's doing for you. You know, you're never to neglect your mother because she has given so much. And that's what we always think of every day at this very moment. We think of how many of you are thinking of your mother, of all the things that she has done for you, and how, you know, she, as they say, she gave up a lot to hold you and to be with you and to feed and make sure you're going to be well and make sure you're going to have the things that's going to need it to be well. So that's how we think of our mother, the earth. We think of her as someone that is always there every time we need something to help us, to ground us, and to take over our challenges. And so we say thank you. And so now we look and we see, because of her love, all the things that she has provided. Because of her love, she has created helpers. And these are helpers, frontline workers. And because we have a tendency to think we're doing all this work all by ourselves. And we get upset, we get hurt, we get angry. Why isn't anybody helping me? Why isn't anybody supporting me? And we grumble and we complain. So this is why we do this opening address, is to remind ourselves, to remind us that there are many out there that are helping us to make this day possible. We're making this day for you. And so that's why I always like to mention today, because right now you are receiving so many gifts of love and you don't realize it. And so we look and we see that our mother has been providing for us. But just like any other mother, how many of you get over exhausted because you're always doing? Well, this is why winter was created. And winter was created so she could have some rest. But her children are complaining and they want it hot. It's just like waking that mother up, waking her up and wanting things, demanding things, because, you know, she needs that rest in order to give us food, in order to give us life, in order to give us all these things. She needs rest. And so please think of that when it's winter. Winter was a time for her to rest. And that was time for us to learn how to appreciate her more. Because in that time, when the snow comes, it was to cover her, to make her really snug and to help her rest so that she could give her best. Because she needs that in order to continue to fulfill the needs of her children. And that is to feed them. And that is to clothe them. That is to do all these things that a mother does. So let's give mother, when winter comes, let's think of her and give her that time. When you see the snow coming, you go, oh, I'm so grateful because mom's going to rest for a while instead of complaining. And when it gets really, really cold, you know, that's the best time when you get your sleep, is when it's really, really cold, because then you ply on the blankets. You know, when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of blankets. So our immune system was being built. You know, we didn't have insulation like you have today. our homes was, we could feel the breeze coming in. We could feel the snow coming in. But you know what? I'm not complaining, because that was a gift. And you know what? People need to leave their windows open. I know, just a smidge, so that breath of life can come, because that's what it is from our mother, the earth. It is her breath that she has given to all creation. So when she's resting, the trees and all them will give you that gift. So you see, at the time of winter, that coldness, it's just like I can remember those days. And I feel so joyful when it's so cold, because I am happy in my spirit, because my spirit remembers blood memory. A lot of us never grew up with a lot of this comfort what we have today. We were reminded how to be humble. And today, because of instant heat, instant everything, we have become a society that has forgotten how to be thankful. And so this is why we are reminded when we say the Thanksgiving address. It is so power. It is so medicine. That's what it is, because you're now saying thank you to all the things that has provided for you. And so we look around and we see the trees, all of them don't have a shelter like we do. And yet they're out there in the cold. The plants, the animals, they're out there in the cold, and they have learned how to survive. You don't hear them complaining and grumbling. They learn how to survive and adapt. You know, we've become too soft. Yes. And as a result, we're having a lot of health problems. You see, the cold was to bring down the virus. The cold was meant to help us, to prepare us for the future. It's just like having what you have, a refrigerator. You put all your food in there to store it and keep it so that you can use it for another day. So why shouldn't it be cold? It has to do that so that the seeds and everything can be much healthier, because they come from an environment that is just like I was talking about in the first session. The environment, the land is our mother. It gives us so much things. And so that's why we say the Thanksgiving. And now we look and we see that at this time, all of them are supposed to be sleeping. But because so many people have been wishing it to be warm, what is happening is much sadness for them, because it's just like somebody came into your bedroom when you were having a good sleep, and they turn on the light, and then, oh, now I got to get up, and then you start. And now that's what's happening to all the plants. That's what's happening to all creation. They will start to get up, and because the sun, and you know what? Then the cold will come again. And you got to think about that, because if that happens, that stunts that growth of that plant, your future foods. So think about that. So I don't mean to say be harsh or anything. It's just a reminder, just like a grandma would say, no, kids, it has a purpose. Remember that. And so that you will learn how to be humble, because don't you want food for the summer? Don't you want to be taken care of in the summer? Well, this is why winter has to come. It has to bring that balance. It has to have cold and heat, cold and heat. And so there's a time when there's cold. There's a time when there's going to be heat. The Creator knew what he was doing. It's the people. We get to a place where we think we're better than the Creator. We want everything to be perfect. And that's not the way life is supposed to be. We are supposed to have our seasons. And that's what we call them, seasons. And so we give thanks for all our seasons, because you know what? Even the trees are troubled, because now at the end of February, the trees were just starting to wake up. But because they woke up a little early, that a lot of the people that are harvesting that sweet water, they don't think that it should be possible. And there goes that medicine that you need for the future. So now we think of all those medicines, a lot. And then we look and we see all those little critters, those little insects and those little bugs. They have a job to do. And yet people are complaining. They do all this without asking for handouts, money. That when I see those insects come here and they do their work, wow, how much we have changed. We're always complaining. Yet they do it without asking for anything. They do it because they need to help us. And so we need to learn how to be, as they say, sharing. And so today we give thanks for all those that are sharing the continuation of a livelihood of our mother. And so we look and we see all the trees, and there are many families of trees. And right now we're doing our midwinter ceremonies, and I'm so blessed that I come from the people of the Longhouse, the Haudenosaunee, and there we are doing our gratitude at this time. We are stirring ashes today. And because I knew I had to do this, I went outside, and that's what I was doing, was walking back and forth on my porch, because that's what we would be doing in the longhouse, is just to be walking back and forth. And we would see there would be a young man helping us to remind us of all that. He would be singing a song, and we would be thanking the Creator that that you can walk, that you can do these things. And so you go to that stove, to the people and stir ashes for them. That was like going into their neighborhood, because that would be of the opposite clan that I sit with. And so we would turn the ashes over. Again, ashes are very important. That means renewing our fire, renewing our purpose in life. And so this has given me, and as I was walking back and forth, I was renewing my life, because what was I doing? I was doing ceremony. I was walking. I was walking and using my legs and my lungs to breathe. And that is amazing, because that first morning, that first breath of life is so important for us. And so while I was walking back and forth, I was thinking I was doing my ceremony. I was doing it for the people and for creation. And so this is why I was a little late, because I was in ceremony, thanking creation for what is to unfold for the future. And so we give thanks to all the animals. And while I was out there, I don't have cats. I don't have of my own, but I have people that the animals, they come to my place. I have raccoons, I have skunks, I even have wild turkey. They come by in my backyard, and so all these animals, I like to help them out, and I always like to know that even a snake. Oh, I'm so blessed I have one, because that snake, he's like a guard. He protects my home from those little critters that might want to come into my home. And so when I see him, I always thank him too, because he's been given a bad name, and everybody fears him. And that's one of the things that I taught my children. So you see, giving thanks to all those little ones and all those critters. We give thanks to the two-legged ones, the four-legged ones, the winged ones, the fin ones, the crawlers. So you see, we're always giving thanks to all of them, because I give thanks because I heard the wind blowing, the wind that came and brought this coldness. And I give thanks because my heart misses that cold, because it reminds me my blood memory. I want to feel the cold. I want to feel it on my cheeks. I want to see it in my breath, because that is a commitment of love. And so I give thanks. And that's what I was doing. And then I looked and I saw how all these things are still doing their duty, still fulfilling and looking after us. When you go out there, oh, that freshness, that beauty of the beginning of this day. It put me right in the present of celebrating why I'm here today and why I'm sharing this love for our mother. And so we give thanks. Sometimes in the longhouse, it takes a long, it takes not just 15 minutes, not 20 minutes, not 25 minutes. It takes a lot longer, because we're thanking all those families that are looking after us. And so this is why we say words before all else. And so while I was doing that, I was thinking about the waters. Now the water is supposed to be coming, and the water comes in many forms. But if we keep wanting it to be hot, we're going to the water's going to evaporate, and our creation, everything needs water. You need water to talk because you cannot talk without water. You were born in water. You were carried in water. And that's what they say too. Your last gift to everyone else is your water, because now that is the last part that you give. It is at completion again. And so this is why we give thanks to all the waters, even most of all the tears. I am so grateful that I can cry, because that is, my body feels the joy. My body feels what our mother, the earth, is going through. And so I cry for her, because people have forgotten how to take care of their mother. And to all of you that have mother, please take care of her, love her, and honor her. And express that. They say Valentine's Day. Well, Valentine's Day to us is that heart, that love that you are to give every day to anyone. It is not just one day, it's every day. Teach and reach everyone with love, kindness, and goodness. And that's what it's all about. Life is all about. And then we go and we see how the sun has risen. Yes, the sun is behind the clouds, but he's still there. It's just like he's in another room, and he's still there to do his duty. And so when you come out, he's still behind the clouds. People are sad because they said, oh, well, they're missing the sun. Well, just go outside, because he's still there. He's still giving his energy to you. He's still giving that energy. But we've been so conditioned that we need this light. Yes, there is light in everything, all creation, because all the time the sun has been shining, it has been giving that energy to all creation, the trees and everything. So when you go outside, this is what you feel, that light of that sun, because they hold that energy for when there is time when he is not, when our eldest brother is not there. And so that's why it is so refreshing and renewing. And so we look and we see that even our eldest brother has a helper, and that's the morning star. And when you get up very early in the morning, it is a gift. It is a gift of medicine. And so all these things that has been said, I'm giving you another version. I can always think of things of what my grandma or all the people that have taught me on how to say thank you every morning. And then now he watches over us all day, and now he turns it over. And that shows us that relationship between man and woman. It's not always the woman having to do everything. They have to share equal. And that is a very definite responsibility of man. Their roles have never been taken care of. And so they take care of their family, they take care of their their selves too. And so man gets time to also celebrate what they mean. Celebrate is be grateful for what he has shared. And when they have given some gift of kindness and goodness, they feel there's medicine when they do that. And that's what happens when the sun reminds us of that. And so now he turns it over. But before he turns it over, there's another helper. It's the evening star. Now the evening star lets everyone know it's time, it's time, it's time to rest. Where the morning star would say, come on, you have to get up. There's a medicine here. And so now this is a time out. There's another medicine coming, and it is the darkness. Darkness was given to us to that time when we were to renew our bodies, because the Creator created us the ability to always be healing, to heal our bodies, our liver, our kidneys, our organs, all these things. But if you're constantly having your mind busy, you're going to be, as they say, going to cause a lot of health problems. So just be careful. And then Grandma Moon, she's always there. She's always checking in on us, and that's her role. She always wants to make sure, and she knows all our challenges. And she knows, and that's why she's there to always support you. You know, her beaming face, and it's so wonderful to look up and say, "Oh, Graham, what did you do during this time?" You know, Grandma has done it all. And that's why we need role models, positive role models. And that's why we give thanks to all these, because they're positive role models. They're always looking after and supporting and giving us the kindness and goodness of that big gift of love, unconditional love. And so then they have the stars. The stars are also helpers up in the sky world, because that's where they are a reminder of where we come from. So you see, the sky world is our home. And that's what we'll always say. When you hear the person that is ready to go back, they always says, "I want to go home." And that is back to the sky world, back to what people have said is heaven. And we call it the sky world. And that's where we all come from. And so now I think about all the things that our grandmother has done for us. She knows, and this is why she gets us to release that pain that's in our hearts. And so she draws our water. So if you're feeling very emotional, it's not just one time of the moon, it's the 4 times she is trying to help us. So don't be stubborn. Let those tears come. That's logic. Why is water put in you? It is to clean the inside so that it is brought out. And so this is what Grandma's doing. She's, come on, you need to cry, because you know people have stopped crying by the time they're 7, and that's sad, because now they're starting on their path of destruction of themselves. They're blaming others, and yet the Creator give us, each of us, that responsibility and that gift to heal. And so I use those gifts. And so I give thanks. And now I think about the thunder beings, how they come and they renew the land, the air, and the water. And yet people complain when it rains, when it's changing. And yet this is a gift. We need this gift to renew the water, because man has polluted it. Man is continuing to creating the gift that we were given to have health and wellness. And it's sad, because man just thinks of it as a sewage. And what is happening to all the people? We are having a lot of health problems. You know, they say, support this cause, support that cause. Well, let's all support the cause of cleaning up the pollution of the rivers. It also is very important for all creation. And so that if we clean this up, then we would have as much disease as we have today. This is where everybody throws their their waste. It's sad. And so I always like to thank the thunder beings for coming, and the lightning. The lightning has to come. And when that comes, I feel so energized, just like creation, because the people on the earth will deplete the resources of the land of our mother. And so the this from the sky world is another gift. It's a gift of that energy to the earth, and that energy to us, so that we can renew ourselves. So you see, there's a lot to be thankful for. And now we think of the 4 beings, messengers, how they always take care of us. You know, a lot of you have been in situations where you never, oh my God, how did I get out of it? Yeah, there, and you're never alone. Never alone, because there's always the 4 beings. And to me, I always think of those 4 beings as my grandpa and grandma on my mom's side, and grandpa and grandma on my father's side. So grandparents always like to look after their children, make sure they're going to be okay. And to me, that I think of unconditional love. Those ancestors, those 4 guardian beings, that they're going to look after me, and that they're with me, and they see what I'm going through. So when their days are rough, I know they're supporting me. And they'll send me a symbol that they're looking after me. They'll send me something that I get a chill, I mean, like a goose pimple, and I go, ooh, it feels like somebody has sent off like that. And so I'm giving thanks that the 4 beings are there. And And I also like to think of a mentor. I'm glad how they put it in there. Um, to us, it was Scudalia, it was Handsome Lake. And I really appreciate that being put in there because it talks about how this man, he was a leader of his people, and yet he's human. He fell from grace. He did things that had harmed himself and harmed his people, and just like our leaders today, that's what they're doing. But this man was, the Creator also saw in him someone that was good, and he gave him that opportunity to make things change. Isn't that nice to know that, the people that our mentors have as they say, have gone through their experience and changed and brought change to the future. And so this is why I appreciate that metaphor of, or that idea of him giving us a symbol of a human being that can make change. And that's a symbol for all of us. If someone is in your community, don't ever say, oh, look at who do they think they are. I always think of how the Creator also loves all those that are troubled. And he sees in them things that is worthy. And so he sends them dreams to make things right, because we are very spiritual beings. And we have walked upon the earth where we've forgotten how to be good spiritual beings. And this is a good example. And so now we think of all these things that the Creator has put, because there's always a mentor in your life, someone that will always help you. And sometimes you don't realize that even the babies are the mentors for us. They are the symbols of creating whenever we receive a child. They are to remind us to create a better world. And that's what our people, all our belts are about, is honoring those children, honoring the commitment of taking care of those children and never neglecting them. And so we were to always be thankful for those ones that have come to remind us on how to be good human beings. And so now I give thanks to the one that has created all. And that is the one that you have. He has many names: God, Creator, the higher power. And so at this time, I say thank you to the one that has created today for us to celebrate and honor creation, and honor and thank all those that have been supporting us so that we can have a life filled with being taken care of. Oh, yawa, miigwech.
Yeah, well, Renee, you are a gift. I'm grateful for you. That I was brought to you, guided to you, and from that day, my life has changed. Everything that you share, the metaphors that support my understandings and being present in life has changed my life, my family, and I'm so grateful. You are the reason Grandmother's Voice came to be, because your knowledge and the way that you share words and how you express this way of knowing and being helps so many. And we are just so grateful for your words today. I know you plan to share for this month, that's now known and acknowledged as Preventative Health Awareness Month. You had a series to share about uh, you know plants and seeds, and just again metaphors and ways that we can look to um, live in a good way, in a way that was left out of our society. These understandings uh, that were taken away from the people of this land, and having this opportunity to share is really amazing. So I'd like to give you back the space and time if you wanted to share a few more minutes, uh, about anything, or we could just. I mean, I think you covered so much there. Being able to just sit in these ways of thinking and really being are so wonderful. that just sets the day, and the gratitude that you remind us to give to everything around us, to the natural world, is really what I know uplifts, up levels me in my way of being and showing up in the world. Before I step out, though, I'd really like to acknowledge the people that have entered the room with us or watching from afar, and those that may join at another time. There is a message here that I'd love to share with that someone had messaged about the lack of sun, and just knowing that actually I'll just put it up here because we like to make sure that everyone is being acknowledged for their words. And so this was what she shared, or they shared. And so this is important to make sure that everyone is acknowledged in the way that they think and feel and what we're sharing. So before you go on to sharing what you were talking about today, would you like to
Yes.
talk about something like that? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jody. Love you. Take care. I know that's another understanding. To all of us that had loving mothers, that energy that she's given to us, it lives on even though she left the room. It lives on in for the time she's gone visiting. When we were little kids, we knew our mom was going to come back. And that's just like the sun. It's just like our father, a loving father, kind father. That energy that you receive when you're with them, you hold it. You hold it in yourself. And this is what people have forgotten. And so just like mom, when she had to go away, have a baby or do her shopping or just time out, we knew that mom loved us. And just like the sun loves us. And yes, this is because their lack of understanding. Please forgive me. And this is what they were told. They said, oh, the sun is away. This is why people are feeling that. But the sun all year round has always, just like the sun, it needs time out too. It has to have us experience all these different changes. And so if the sun has never left us. It's the clouds that come under. And it is to teach us how to live in that moment. Take all the energy that you need because this is what you do. You don't take things for granted. You take that energy of that moment. But always remember that the sun has also given all that love and energy to everything outside. And they hold that energy just like we hold our love for our family, our parents, our children. We hold that love. Even if we're away, we feel. Any mother like me, I know when my children are feeling it. And it's because that love. And so I'll send love out there back to them. And I'll ask in that time, I'll say, may you be taken care of till I come back. And the trees hold that energy. Vitamin C. Cedar tree is always the one that we have a story why that cedar, why it's green forever. It is been given the medicine because there's that story that we have stories for everything. And so this is why when the sun goes, when he hides or when he's off, this is when those trees, there's vitamin C, there's vitamin D, there's everything that we need. All we have to be is out there in the environment. But man has caused an extra, so you can't blame the sun. What has happened is this fog pollution has now taken over that gift. And so what has pollution, that's that big dark veil, and it has, as they say, blocked that gift from us. But when you're out there, the sky world and the earth, even though there's this pollution in between, they're still sending energy, sending energy, sending energy, sending energy. And this is why that we have the evergreen trees. They hold their medicine. And I know this for truth, because I used to be at a treatment center. I used to be that's where I got my name, because I wanted to be there when the clients came in, the people came in, and I wanted to be there in the evening for them, and I wanted to be there on weekends. And so when after a time they came up and they asked me, they says, Grandma, they said, Renee, you remind me of my grandma, or I wish you were my grandma. And you remind us of a grandma. Can we call you grandmother? And Gookum in our language, or whatever language we have. And I says, I'd be honored. So they're the ones that give me that name, Grandma. And so when they are feeling that, I would take them outside. And a lot of times we would have to go and gather the medicines, the things that we would need for our lodge, for healing, purification lodge. People call it sweat lodge. And so one young man says, I don't feel like going out today, Graham. He says, I don't feel good. And I said, well, why don't you just come for a ride? I said, just come for a ride. And he said, okay, I'll come for a ride. And then all the people, we were out there, we went and gathered up the cedar. And he was sitting in the van, but he could hear us laughing and talking. So he got out of the van and he came over and he started being out there. And I seen him come out, and I was so happy to see him come out. And I said, I know you weren't feeling good. I said, I'd like to share something with you. He says, I said, I want you to go grab that cedar bough, and I want you to just smell it. Just smell it. Just smell it. And I was showing him how to smell it, and he did that. He went like that. And he went, ooh. And next thing you know, he looks at, after a while, he going, I don't have that headache. And then he was feeling a lot better. And so you see, everything that Indigenous knowledge is now, we were told that our knowledge was going to be validated. Our knowing was going to be validated by science. And so I was told by many people that, hey, there's a doctor that talks about that. Somebody also say, I heard that from professional people, from the science. And so they're talking about grounding. So check that out for you. Check that out about grounding. And they used to laugh at, and they called us poor because we walked around bare feet. My mother would walk around bare feet all season round. I have friends that even with bare feet in the wintertime, because that was how we became healthy. So you see, that energy that the sun had given, it's not gone. It's there all the time. And what has happened to the people that have diabetes, I also work with diabetes. And that's what I asked them. I said, yeah, I know you cannot, because the first thing when it gets really bad is they lose that feeling on their feet. And I said, well, just take a chair and take your socks off, find a safe place, and put your feet on the ground. Just sit there for a while and let yourself feel the energy of the earth. Let you feel that. I said, right now, you don't think you can feel, but you will. You will. And that's what, yes, I work with diabetes. I am an elder, the grandmother for IDHC. And because of my understanding of the land, I use that in many situations to help the people. So this is what it's all about. What I'm talking about is how the environment, that's the first series we talked about, and that is the soil. The next is the seed. The next is the roots. The next is the stem. and the next is the flower. So this is what we're talking about, preventive medicine. So make sure your soil, where your foundation is it in gratitude or is it of negativity, grumbling? So you see, that we have to take care of is our environment. Most of it is up here because a lot of people are stuck up here. Their mind is like this. That's that environment that's causing a lot of health problems. They're stuck too much up here. They've forgotten how to connect to their hearts. They forgot to connect. And I would call that the seed, because this one is an other way I look at it as your environment. And that soil that you have, you are a twin. And in that, you are impatient or patient. Now, in our story, we have those two twins. They were known as the left and right. People have referred them as good and evil, but to me, I know them as patient and impatient. And because of our story, it tells how the son that was impatient, how he because of him being impatient, he caused chaos that was going to cause much grief. And so this is why health, you have to take care of that soil. What environment are you in? Are you in a negative environment, or are you in, because an environment of gratitude? And so you think of gratitude and you think of patient. All the other is impatient that causes a lot of health problems. And so that's your soil. Now the seed, that means your thought. Is your thought connected to your heart? Because if your mind is up there with saying, this is where we get guilt and shame. Now, when you have that, it is because they want, man wants to control. You see, there are 3 laws. There's a spiritual law. That's the one that's up here. Then there's the universal law. That is our mother, the earth. And then there's man law. But now man law thinks they're overseeing everything of the natural world. And so as a result, we're having a lot of chaos. What is happening out there? They have conditioned you to have fear and doubt. And so again, that is your soil. And anytime you plant, you have to have positive, you have to have good thoughts. And that's why we would sing to our seeds. So it's just like parenting. So everything of nature teaches us about preventive chaos. Chaos to you. You have been given a choice. Is my environment of just negativity and grumbling? If I am in a rush, if I'm thinking too much, I'm causing, what do they call it? A lot of health problems, anxiety, high blood pressure, all these things. And if you came into our community many years ago, many years ago, it would be of a slower pace than what they have in the city. And there's still some reserves way up north. And that's why I like going up north, because there's a slower pace of life. When I go to the cities, it's sad because the people are just going zoom, 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 zoom. And everything is so fast. It just shakes up that balance I have. And I can only stay in a city for not too long. I have to get back to the country where there's trees and all those things that helps me to bring me down. And we are meant to have a long life. And this is the reason we're having a lot of problems in the city, is because it's covered in concrete. No longer are we have a relationship with the land. And so as a result, we're having a lot of health problems. So I know what I've shared to you is mind-boggling, but just think of that. What am I doing today that I've created a safe place for my seed so that I can have strong roots, so that my my stamp, my being can be healthy, so that what I project for all is kindness and goodness. And so this is, so we've done it in series. So the first series was of the soil, the environment. The next was the seed, and then the next part is the roots. This is very important because you are what you project. And so think about that. Do you want to be healthy, or do you want to be challenged with a lot of unhealthiness? You have a choice. And so that gives forth peace, power, and righteousness, the gift of life. So I say thank you. And I wish everyone use this day in a good way of gratitude. And the more you use thankfulness, is the more at peace you're going to be. You're going to be surprised the more you say thank you. I give thanks for all my life experience because it taught me. It made me a professor of life. It made me a healer, a helper, a scholar, professor, a doctor, a lawyer. All these gifts teaches us life experience on how to overcome challenges. So I want to say thank you. So never look at any experience that you've had. It was to teach you. If there's a lot of sickness, you have the ability to heal yourself. Just like me. If I want to help other people, I have to learn how to help myself first. I have to constantly take care of myself first before I can take care of other people. And so I say, thank you for giving me this opportunity that was given to me by the grandmothers of the community, my grandmothers, and my grandfathers of the community, to help us to restore peace, power, and righteousness. And that is in our belts. So take care.